7-year low. These are words that nobody wants to hear, but Ubisoft is forced to reckon with. Now, Ubisoft is a very large developer and publisher of video games, and, well, they're not exactly in any danger of folding or anything, but this doesn't look good. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, we ask the question, what the hell is happening with Ubisoft? So Ubisoft shares recently plummeted about 21%. That's a fifth of their value. Now, this didn't just happen randomly. They basically said their forecast that they would see a 10% increase in profit was incorrect, and instead, they would likely see a 10% decrease in profit, which, as you know, people who buy and sell stock don't like that. And in the midst of this, giving the reason of worsening macroeconomic conditions, Ubisoft actually canceled 3 games. Now, these weren't games we knew anything about, they were unannounced, but they did say publicly, we had 3 games that we were going to release, and we're not gonna now. These 3 cancellations bring the number of canceled games in the last 6 months up to 7. Most of these games are ones that they haven't announced, and we don't know what they are, so it doesn't sting like a gamer too hard. Like, nobody's really emotionally invested in games that don't exist in terms of tangible evidence. But we do know that one of them was apparently a VR Splinter Cell game, and while it's nice to hear that is at least in consideration, I don't know that I care a whole lot that a VR Splinter Cell got canceled. I would like a full-blown regular Splinter Cell game with next-gen graphics and updated modern mechanics. But I also don't know if Ubisoft is really in the position to be adding stuff to their slate like that. Things aren't looking that great. Like, they basically said in their press release, sales are surprisingly slow. They've gone into cost reduction mode and are planning on cutting $200 million out of their budget. And, you know, this comes on top of other not good news for them. The Mario and Rabbids sequel didn't do very well. Like, the original Mario and Rabbids game was a really cool tactical game that was simple and approachable, very well done, really something I enjoyed a lot. And in truth, Sparks of Hope is actually a pretty worthy sequel. It takes the battle system from the first game and adds a few new layers in the Sparks, a type of additive mechanic that doesn't complicate the battle system but adds more to do, which I like. It is one of, you know, a million new Switch games that the reviews all mention performance as a problem, but that's not exclusive to Sparks of Hope at all. It's just, I don't know, it's a worthy sequel in a series that, while people like, maybe just doesn't have the kind of hype that Ubisoft thinks it does, because the first one was kind of a surprise hit. I mean, really, the negatives for Ubisoft keep going on. Their core Tom Clancy writer, Richard Dansky, who's been a vital part of all of their Tom Clancy games for like 23 years. He left the company, and, well, you know the other thing that I'm gonna say, because it's been the thing that we've been saying for about a decade now. Skull and Bones got delayed again. You know how many times I've said Skull and Bones got delayed again? Skull and Bones has been in development longer than I've been at gameranx. I think it's the only high-profile game that is like that. I don't think that there's any AAA real game. I mean, let's not talk about Star Citizen. That's not Ubisoft. But Skull and Bones is a very real project that they've talked about a lot and hyped. Not necessarily in a release cycle, but said, hey, we had a really good idea. We're taking the ship stuff that you really enjoyed from Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed 4. And we're going to make that into its own game. I still, in 2023, think that's a great idea. Also, considering they developed the damn mechanics a very long time ago, it doesn't seem like it should be that difficult to make into a game, but here we are. To be fair on Skull and Bones, they at least gave an update on it to the official Twitter rather than just announcing it via press release or to stock people on a call. They're talking about incorporating feedback from tests, polishing and balancing, along with more upcoming public beta stuff. But most importantly, the day that they put out this update, January 12th, they said, hey, tomorrow we're going to put out some footage of the game. A spokesperson actually had the following to say: while Skull and Bones is now complete, we're using the remaining time until our launch to leverage feedback from our ongoing technical test and the upcoming open beta to polish and balance the experience. To me, that says the game is not complete, but the fact that they are quote-unquote assembling a strike team to make it as good as it possibly can be, I'm quite happy with. So I don't want to just say it's the worst Skull and Bones update we've ever seen. It's actually, in terms of their delays, probably not the worst version of it, but I mean, the game is getting delayed again. So what the hell is happening? This is a whole lot of negatives for a very big developer that we all know very well and has made a lot of very high-profile games that have made them lots of money. I mean, Assassin's Creed Valhalla smashed records. It was a huge game for them. They made so much money on it. But, alright, so here's where we start to see why. Ubisoft's release slate has not been dense lately. They just haven't been pushing games out as frequently as they did, 5-6 years ago. So every time there's a miss, it really feels like a big miss. Now, Far Cry 6 did well, and it was received quite well. But there was also Rainbow Six Quarantine, which... do you even remember that Rainbow Six Quarantine has been released in the last 12 months? I mentioned the Mario Rabbids game and how well it was received, but they really didn't market it. The first one was kind of a surprise hit, and maybe they were just thinking, that's gonna happen again. We don't have to market it. It's a big old brand now. But there was one Mario Rabbids game. If that were the case for a franchise that had been going strong for, 2-3 titles already, maybe. But if they do make another one, they're gonna have to actually market it. And then there's Skull and Bones. They delayed it again, and obviously I have my complaints about that. It's almost a joke at this point. But when we're talking about all of these problems, we have to start wondering how much money they're burning on Skull and Bones. Like, you can tie in some of the other problems to that. If they weren't sinking probably tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into this game over the course of a decade, could they have marketed Mario Rabbids? Yeah, they could have. They're a huge company, like I said, that makes tons of money, but they don't have infinite money, especially if Skull and Bones is, a large chunk of even a large amount of money. They also obviously sunk a bunch of money in to the Battle Royale multiplayer free-to-play stuff with no viable ongoing franchise coming out of that. There was going to be a Ghost Recon spin-off. Nobody was particularly happy about that, so they just didn't bother. They've been burning money like the Joker. And for Ubisoft's CEO, Yves Guillemot, it eventually came to having to send out a message. I'll quote it for you. Today, more than ever, I need your full energy and commitment to ensure we get back on a path to success. I am also asking that each of you be especially careful and strategic with your spending and initiatives to ensure we're being as efficient and lean as possible. Basically, stop burning money, guys. Things are not going well. Now, that being said, Guillemot has said that the upcoming games for the next fiscal year is quote-unquote the biggest pipeline in Ubisoft history. So he tries to include a bit of a positive there, but we also kind of have to remember that this guy's the head honcho, and a lot of the stuff that he's maybe saying, hey guys, stop burning the money, probably went through him. He probably made a lot of those decisions. So I don't know, maybe he's part of the problem. In truth, the next year is definitely going to be a big test. Ubisoft has to deliver. And here's the thing, it's definitely not all bad, and there are some pretty good things on the horizon. Ubisoft has a Star Wars game they're developing, and seemingly they're going to have a fully open, seamless universe like along the lines of No Man's Sky, or maybe Astroneer. That, if delivered upon, is immediately one of the coolest possible things that anybody who even kind of likes Star Wars would want to play. Now, there are some concerns with something that would technically be probably the biggest damn Star Wars game ever made. That's a big chunk to bite off, and we'll see if Ubisoft can chew it. But if that's real, if that's what they're doing with their Star Wars game, wowie, that's going to be good. And they've also done something very smart by listening to fans about Assassin's Creed, scaling down to give us Mirage. So, Mirage is probably one of the more exciting developments for the traditional Assassin's Creed fans out there. It's not that I don't want them to keep making the open world formula Assassin's Creed games. I kind of just want both types of games, and it kind of looks like that's what they're doing. They listen to the fans, and the fans are like, hey, we really want a more traditional Assassin's Creed game too. So Ubisoft has listened, like they have heard the demand for a more intimate, character-driven Assassin's Creed that maybe doesn't take a month to beat. And it looks like a really good game. Frankly, given that Assassin's Creed kind of grew out of Prince of Persia, seeing an Assassin's Creed set in a Middle Eastern setting, I don't know, I really like seeing it. So really what we have to look out for with Ubisoft is, do they deliver on this stuff? Is Assassin's Creed Mirage as good as it could be? Is the Star Wars game gonna be as good as it could be? Is Skull and Bones gonna come out? And also, is it gonna be as good as it could be? Because if all of these questions are answered with yes, in all seriousness, Ubisoft has nothing to worry about. Those would be 3 absolutely huge, big wins. So let's hope that's the case. Let's hope they stop burning the money and start releasing games that cause us to say, shut up and take my money, right? Ultimately, that's really what it's about. We would like to play good games, Ubisoft. Deliver on that, and you shall be doing just fine. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.